Welcome back to another episode of My Sister's TBR, where we dissect the books and make us swoon, scream, and sometimes throw them across the room. I'm Stacey, and I'm still recovering from some intense romance reads this month.
And I'm Rebecca, your resident thriller enthusiast, here to report on the latest twists and turns that kept me up the entire night.
May has been a roller coaster of emotions in the book world.
Yes, that it has. From heart-wrenching love stories to pulse-pounding suspense, we've covered a lot of ground this month.
And speaking of love stories, we'll be diving deep into our featured read, which was Dear John by Nicholas Sparks. So get your tissues ready, because it's a tearjerker.
But do not worry, I'll be balancing things out with my thrilling tales of murder, mystery, and mayhem.
Dun 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 dun. So, as usual, grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and prepare for a bookish adventure.
We're about to spill all the tea and maybe a few tears on this episode of My Sister's TBR.
Dun, dun, dun. So, I think I can speak for both of us when I say that this month kind of sucked as well. We have both been so stupidly busy.
Yeah.
Both dealing with moves and just a lot of like
stress.
Work emotional stress.
Yep.
So, but I still think that we did decent, I think, considering how crazy this month has been.
Yep, considering everything that's been going on, heck yes. We need to give ourselves a bit of
a pat on the back.
And a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like, yeah. How many books did you read this month?
3, including the featured read.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Okay, so mine is kind of a little bit wonky. So like kind of 8 books. According to Goodreads.
Oh my god.
But no, Goodreads is counting the epilogues that I read for the first 2 Bridgerton books as books.
Interesting.
So it's only like 6 books. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why it did it that way. So I have to like, hold the phone. I read 7 books because there's a fan fiction I read that's not on Goodreads. I totally forgot about that and I can't wait to talk about it. Okay.
Okay, so you're talking about how May was a bad month. That's like your average amount of books.
So it would have been an insane month if I could have kept up my pace, but all of these books I like literally finished in the first half of the month.
Wow.
I finished 1 book in like the last 2 weeks. So it's been...
Yeah.
It's been a very slow, bad 2 weeks, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you may as well start us off here. I'll take a seat. I'll wait. Wait my turn.
Let me get my water.
Yep.
Get hydrated for this. Okay, so starting off, I finished the second Bridgerton's book. So that's the Viscount Who Loved Me. That is Antony's book. And the one I was most excited for, like, I mean, I am so excited to read Benedict's story or finish it because I'm like, I don't know, halfway through it. But I don't know. Anthony, just his story was superb.
God, yes.
I know we talked about this last episode about how the Bridgerton series differs from the Bridgerton books, like the Netflix series story. And I know that they bring in a lot of people of color. And I especially noticed it with this season, with Anthony's season. Because it's not mentioned, I don't think, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's mentioned that they're of different color in the books. So as I was reading it, I was like, screw all the descriptions that Julia Quinn is giving us. I'm picturing the Bridgerton Netflix series. And I loved it so much more. I just devoured it.
Oh, I can't wait.
So while they are like connected, I do a lot of talking with my hands, and I hate that people can't see that.
Me too. It's okay. It's fine.
So, they're interconnected, obviously, because it's all the same family, but they are like somewhat standalone because you know who ends up with who. Like everybody already knows that. So it's not like a big crazy, oh no, big spoilers if you happen to hear of the couple in the next book or whatever. So I will read the description on this one. I know normally we don't read the descriptions of second or third books, etc. But this one I think is safe because it doesn't say anything about the characters from the first book. Okay. So it's obviously historical romance. It was 354 pages. And it still floors me that these books were published back in 2000. Like, what?
That's so crazy.
December 5th, 2000. I was 9?
Yep. Yeah.
No.
Well,
yeah, I was just turning 9 that
4.
year. Okay. As Lady Whistledown's Society Papers, April 1814 said, 1814 promises to be another eventful season, but not, this author believes, for Anthony Bridgerton, London's most elusive bachelor that has shown no indication that he plans to marry. But, in truth, why should he? When it comes to playing the consummate rake, nobody does it better. But this time the gossip columnists have it wrong. Anthony Bridgerton hasn't just decided to marry, he's even chosen a wife. The only obstacle is his intended's older sister, Kate Sheffield, the most meddlesome woman ever to grace a London ballroom. The spirited schemer is driving Anthony mad with her determination to stop the betrothal. But when he closes his eyes at night, Kate is the woman haunting his increasingly erotic dreams. Contrary to popular belief, Kate is quite sure that reformed rakes do not make the best husbands, and Anthony Bridgerton is the most wicked rogue of them all. Kate is determined to protect her sister, but she fears her own heart is vulnerable, and when Anthony's lips touch hers, she's suddenly afraid she might not be able to resist the reprehensible rake himself.
I mean,
I rated this 4. It was great.
Oh. Okay. Oh, so good. So good.
Really, really was. Obviously, it being 2000s, there are some things that I found over like these books that are a little questionable for this time. So, like, it does still hold up, but there's still some things that I feel wouldn't pass the vibe check. In 2024.
Gotcha.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked it. It was still a really good book.
Did you find this one was also like pretty much scene for scene for the show compared to the book?
I don't think it was quite the same. Like, it was still, like, really close. Like, I'm still very impressed with how close they are keeping to the series, like, the book series. This one, yes, was still good, like, in comparison to the series. There were some differences, but not enough that I would be like, oh my god, like, it's not even the same series, right? Like, a lot of TV adaptations just take these big parts, and that's it. They'll form their own stories in between to make up the main plot of the book. But no, I think they're doing a really good job at just sticking to the book.
I love that.
Yeah. Other than now Colin and Penelope's, because I feel that they have changed that.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. But we'll talk about that on another episode.
Yeah. Interesting. You may as well talk about your second.
Okay. So my second book of May, and I don't know if I talked about this one on our last episode because I don't remember if I was currently reading it. But it's Flawless by Elsie Silver. It was the first book in the Chestnut Spring series. So this is considered a sports romance because he's a bull rider.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay, that sport terrifies me, but like...
Oh, this book was just chef's kiss. It was
Is he a cowboy?
Good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yes, you do need to read these. And this one is like the whole forbidden love trope. Sprinkle of a little like workplace romance. And sprinkle a bit of one bed trope.
Oh, it's everything.
I know. Okay, I'll read the description.
Please.
The rules were simple. Keep my hands off his daughter and stay out of trouble. But now I'm stuck with her. There's only one bed, and, well, rules are made to be broken. I'm the face of professional bull riding, the golden boy. Or at least I was, until it all blew up in my face. Now my agent says I have to clean up my image, so I'm stuck with his ball-busting daughter for the rest of the season as my full-time supervision. But I don't need a goddamn babysitter, especially one with skin-tight jeans, a sexy smirk, and a mouth she can't stop running. A mouth I can't stop thinking about. Because Summer isn't just another conquest, she sees the man behind the mask, and she doesn't run. She pulls me closer, even when she shouldn't. She says this means nothing. I say this means everything. She says there are boundaries we shouldn't cross, that my reputation can't take any more hits, and neither can her damaged heart. I say, I'm going to steal it anyway. This book had me giddy, kicking my feet, laughing, giggling.
Oh,
I rated
God.
it 4 stars, but it's more of a 4.5. Like, fantastic. Fantastic book. And it was a great start into that series.
I am going to add it right now.
You do. You literally have to add it right now because you will eat it up.
Oh.
And he's a dirty talker.
Oh.
But it's not bad. Like, it's not like in that weird way. Sometimes it just strikes you as like, who would even say that, right?
Okay.
What did you read? Break us up with from the romance.
Honestly, here I'm missing the smutty books lately now. Like, now that you bring that up, I haven't read a good... Actually, April was my last time reading, like, a good smutty...
Wow. Sad.
This is also only May. It's the end of May. Anyway. My first read of the month was The Perfect Son by Frida McFadden. I can't get away from
love
her.
how our we deemed March Frida McFadden March Madness or whatever it was that we called it, and you're onto your 3rd month of it.
I can't stop.
That's amazing.
I can't stop. Like,
cue Red Hot Chili Peppers. Can't stop addicted to the Frida.
Okay. The Perfect Son by Frida McFadden. 373 pages. And I rated this a 4. Mrs. Cass, we were hoping your son could answer a few questions about the girl who disappeared last night. ... Erica Cass has a perfect family and a perfect life, until the evening when 2 detectives show up at her front door. A high school girl has vanished from Erica's quiet suburban neighborhood. The police suspect the worst, murder, and Erica's teenage son, Liam, was the last person to see the girl alive. Erica has always sensed something dark and disturbed in her seemingly perfect older child. She wants to believe he's innocent, but as the evidence mounts, she can't deny the truth. Liam may have done the unthinkable. Now she must ask herself, how far will she go to protect her son?
Ooh.
So normally, I find Frida has, like, 2 plot twists. This one was like there were so many different avenues that she, like, put in the book, like all of her books, honestly, trying to distract you, right? And it's like, that one's too obvious. It's not going to be that one. Like, I can sometimes narrow it down, but this one, Nope.
Oh.
Did not see it coming. Wow. Yep. Had me like, yep.
Oh my gosh. What did you say it was called?
The Perfect Son.
Perfect Son.
Yep. So it like...
Okay.
It was also, like, they would talk about the transcripts between the detectives and these people who they were interrogating or questioning. So it was really interesting to, like, hear other people's inputs into these certain situations.
That's
and it was
really
also,
cool.
Yeah, and, like doctors, therapists, and, like, teachers and students and, like, everybody who was involved. Yeah, very, very interesting. But that plot twist of who it was actually, like, what actually happened, was not expecting it. Yeah, it was very good. I just love her writing so much. Like, she's so easy.
Yeah.
So easy to read. Oh my god. Like, I just find that I fly right through it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I found too with the ones that I've read by her. So,
Amazing.
So far, do you think that you have like a favorite Frida book so far?
I will talk about that next.
Oh, okay. Am I next?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, so Lauren Blakely has a How to Date series. And they're all like different like popular tropes. And I don't think that they intertwine. I don't know, because I read book 4 and I had no idea. So
Okay.
I'll leave that with the listeners. You can read book 4 and not feel like you were missing any story from anything else. So probably all the other books are going to feel the same. So this one that I read was The Accidental Dating Experiment. And I listened to this one. This was an audiobook. And it was pretty short. I don't recall how long it was. But I listened to it in the course of like the weekend working. So the Accidental Dating Experiment. 8 years ago, I fell into a secret summer fling with the bright, big-hearted Juliet before our lives went in different directions. Now, I'm the grumpy to her sunshine on a popular dating podcast we host. And when a wealthy fan gives us a charming coastal cottage as the biggest thank you ever, we head to the town where I grew up to give it a makeover. And find the house has only one bed, located under a mirrored ceiling.
Oh boy. Yep.
To make matters even harder, the woman I've been pining for tells me she wants to try to find the one, and would I please be her dating coach for the week? Like hell, I'll let her date other men. I'll coach her on 3 dates with me. But the second I take her out, I don't feel like her teacher. I feel like she's mine, especially when the first night ends with us tangled up together in that bed. Each night we grow closer. Exactly. Each night we grow closer, but this dating experiment forces me to face my greatest fear, whether a man like me is worthy of her love, even though I'm already head over heels for her. So this sounds like a really great book, but I only rated it 2 stars.
Okay. Do tell.
Okay, so right off the bat, I'll just say is very cringy. I felt very weird reading some parts of this. It wasn't memorable. And just the plot itself was just so, I don't know, impractical. It just didn't make much sense. She brought in a lot of different, I don't know, like conflicts, I guess, is the way to look at it. There are adults that don't act like adults. Like, I'll just put that out there right off the bat. Like, a lot of this just felt like it was, like, teenagers.
Yeah.
Like, and I hate that when they're so obviously supposed to be adults and they just do not act or sound like adults, I guess. I don't know. But, I don't know. It was fine to get me through work. So, like, I mean, the narrators did a great job. I did really enjoy the narrating of it, but it's just the story was completely flat, like, total lackluster.
That's sad.
And I just didn't feel, like, the chemistry. Like, you think, like, reading that description felt a lot different than what I was getting in the book itself. Like, he did not seem like he was pining after her. Like, there was no pining. He was just like, oh, I'll coach you. And then that was like, I don't know. I don't know how to put it. I just didn't enjoy it.
Sounds like there was so much potential.
So much potential. And especially like them being like podcast co-hosts. I thought that was such an interesting, fun. Yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm too tired.
Everybody needs to see your hands because it would make sense then.
It makes sense when you see my hands. Yes. But anyways, yeah, just long story short, it just fell flat.
So sad.
Yeah. But I made up for it with my next book.
Okay, I'm ready.
And I know I talked about this one in our mid-month because I had mentioned that it was very Criminal Minds, Spencer Reid-esque character.
Yes.
I ended up rating it 4 stars because it was just so good. So it was Ranger by Rebecca Sharp, and this was the 4th book in the Reynolds Protective series. I did go back and start from book 1 because I did really enjoy her writing. It was just so easy to read. And yeah, so it's a listed as a contemporary romance / suspense. Because there was like that, it was pretty suspenseful after like, once you get to like the peak, the conflict in the story.
Okay.
I was just like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Oh my god. Sydney Ward woke up on the wrong side of life. That's what it feels like when cancel culture claims yet another victim. After her relationship implodes and tanks her career as a best-selling romance novelist, Sydney decides to start a whole new chapter in the last place that any kind of romance, literal or figurative, could find her. Wisdom, Wyoming, a town with 2 stoplights, 1 main street, and 0 book boyfriends. Sydney was prepared to rebuild her life. She was prepared to forget all about sexy firefighters, broody billionaires, and dreams of her own happy ending. She was not prepared for her incredibly intelligent and endearingly awkward landlord, or the way he makes her feel things she's only ever written about. Ranger Reynolds lives by his own rules. While his exceptional IQ makes him an asset to Reynolds' Protective, Ranger knows he's too smart for his own good and too smart to find love like the rest of his brothers. So, he ignores the pull he feels for the woman renting his garage apartment and sticks to facts instead. When the press show up looking for a story on Sydney, they bring a dangerous plot twist. They're out for blood, and they aren't the only ones with Sydney in their sights. Ranger's determined to help, so when Sydney approaches him proposing a very convenient kind of protection, Ranger agrees, because what other reason would he have to get married? So this is like the fake marriage, yeah. Or marriage of convenience. I don't know how that really works with the story, but yeah. His character is so freaking adorable. I could not get enough. He's the type that like as he was getting nervous with her, like, because he doesn't understand like why he has this attraction to her, because he like, to his brain, he's like, scientifically, there's no reason why I should be feeling like this, right? And he's going through, like, it's almost like he's doing his own diagnostics on himself. And, like, as he's getting nervous, he's just, like, spitting out these random facts. And it was just so adorable. But yeah, like, basically, the whole reason why I picked it up was because I read that it was, like, the main male character was inspired by Spencer Reid. And that was just enough reason for anybody to want to go read this book.
Yes, honestly. Oh, God.
Yeah, according to some of the reviews, apparently there are, like, direct quotes from the TV series that, that apparently people don't like. Because I guess, if there's direct quotes, it's like plagiarism, so.
Yeah, true.
Anyways, I don't know how to feel about that because I never watched Criminal Minds enough to notice that there were like direct. But it was a good book. 4 stars. Yep. What was your next book?
My next book was my second 5-star rating of 2024.
Wow. Okay.
And my first 5-star rating of Frida McFadden. So, you asked me if I had a favorite. Plot twist wise, this would be my favorite. But content wise, I think The Teacher was my favorite.
Okay.
Just because of, like, obviously minus the fact that she was so young. I eliminated that from my brain. But
yeah, we don't think about it that like that anymore.
We don't think about that.
No.
Okay. So, my next read was The Coworker by Frida.
Oh, I have heard a lot of good things about this one.
Yep. So, obviously, again, mystery thriller. This was 362 pages. 2 women, an office filled with secrets, one terrible crime that can't be taken back. Dawn Scheif is strange. At least everyone thinks so at Vixt, the nutritional supplement company where Dawn works as an accountant. She never says the right thing. She has no friends, and she is always at her desk at precisely 8:45 a.m. So when Dawn doesn't show up to the office one morning, her coworker Natalie Farrell, beautiful, popular, top sales rep, 5 years running, is surprised. Then she receives an unsettling anonymous phone call that changes everything. It turns out Dawn wasn't just an awkward outsider. She was being targeted by someone close. And now, Natalie is irrevocably tied to Dawn as she finds herself caught in a twisted game of cat and mouse that leaves her wondering, who's the real victim? But one thing is incredibly clear. Somebody hated Dawn Scheif enough to kill.
Wow.
So, this one actually had 3 plot twists.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god. Like, at first, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. Like, the first, maybe first quarter of the book, I was like, okay, like, there's nothing special about this one. Like, meh, like, it's whatever. But then, this is related to this, and this person is related to that person, and it's like, there's a web, and you didn't know that there could possibly be a web. Oh my god.
Literally all I'm picturing right now, especially with the way that you're looking and like going with your hands, all I'm picturing is the Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Over the board.
The whiteboard.
Yeah, and he's just like crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm picturing right now.
Yeah, it just took a turn, and my jaw was on the floor, and I was like, no freaking way. Blew my mind 3 times. How can you have 3 big plot twists in 300 and something pages?
Yeah, that's insane.
I wasn't expecting it. Like, 2, I was like, okay. Like, after the first one, I was like, okay, something else is going to come up.
Yeah.
So then I was like, you know.
All these pages.
Yeah. I was just trying to, like, anticipate what it could be. Nope.
Wow.
Nope. No. So that one, like, very clearly earned a 5-star. Just because that had me running around here.
Yeah. The quality.
Yeah. And, like, I just love how it's not always the same. Like, all of her books are, like similar in the aspect of, like, a different POV, different timeline. Someone goes missing or someone dies and they're trying to find, you know, it's
There's
all
a
like
specific, like, almost like a chemical makeup.
Yeah.
Of, like, what her, yeah.
Yep. But then it's like, after all of these books, I still can't anticipate where she's going with her plot twists.
Just pulls the rug right out from under you.
Yep. What was your next one?
Okay, so my next book was the fan fiction. So I found another Senlin Yu fan fiction.
Oh, what?
Yes. Do Not Go Gentle. It's completed. It's only 34,000 words. There's 10 chapters. It was a very quick read. I literally finished almost in one sitting. It was very, very quick.
What does that title mean? What's that mean?
Okay. I'm going to read out the little description that she has there. I'll try to explain it a bit more after, but okay. It was subtle at first. For the first several months, she assumed it was merely the stress of the war. For the next several months, she assumed it was the stress of the trials. Then, when winter approached, she assumed it was stress from school. She kept assuming it was stress until she was walking to the cabinet to retrieve her supplies for potions class, and the walls began closing in, wobbling and swallowing her up. When she awoke again, she was in the Hogwarts hospital ward. Severus Snape stood at her bedside, staring down at her with an expression of profound irritation. So that is...
Is that it?
That is what the summary is. Okay? The notes that Senlin Yu has written is a little bit better because it does give you a bit more into what the story is. So she does say... that the story follows Hermione as she struggles to cope emotionally with a terminal curse. It is not intended as a moral story. It is simply a story. There are some elements loosely based on the end-of-life behavior of a close friend and some of my own experiences dealing with chronic illness, but it is primarily its own story exploring a set of circumstances that people react to in very unique ways. There is no major character death in this story, but the ending is left partially ambiguous. So she got this from a Tumblr prompt, a writing prompt at one point, and then she just went with it. It is a Severus Snape and Hermione.
Did Ilsa read this?
I sent it to her. I'm pretty sure she did read it after.
She probably read it in that sitting as soon as she got the notification.
So, I'm cursed to continuously visualize, and I don't even know if it's a curse at this point because I love it when she sends them, but Ilsa sends me the links to some of the TikToks that is Snape AI, but it's Alan Rickman as Snape AI in very, scandalous poses. So I had to sort of rewire myself to not think of that when I was reading this book because that's not what it's based off of. She at some point I had seen somewhere to picture Adam Driver as Snape. So it's very much the characters from the books, not the movies. That is the way that, right? Yeah. So I'm not sure at what point it changes from the books. I know it's after the Battle of Hogwarts because Snape has scarring on his neck from where he was bitten.
Oh.
So he survives that. Spoiler alert. I don't know if...
Okay.
I mean, it's been 8 for ages. So... Yeah. And Hermione ends up... when she's at Bellatrix's and she's being tortured?
Mm-hmm.
When they write Mudblood on her arm?
Actually, that was at the Malfoy Manor, not at Bellatrix's.
Right, not Bellatrix's, Malfoy Manor. Thank you, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
There's a reason why you're the queen of the trivia that nobody can be up to par with.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so yes, when she gets that ends up as cursed, it won't heal. But yeah, so she's back at Hogwarts finishing her whatever year it is. I don't recall, but I do know that she's 19 in the story. She's... Long story short, Snape is trying to find a way to cure or break the curse, right? Because it's brought up how he gave Dumbledore more time by fending off the curse from the ring. Oh,
I need to read this.
I am so... I can send it. Yes, I can. I am so amazed with the way that Senlin Yu brings in all these parts of Harry Potter and just forms her own story, because I was reading this and I was just like, oh my god, my heart. Like, it's not that it was like a, I don't know, like a spicy book or anything like that, but you do get so much of that progression between Hermione and Snape that, I don't know, like, I couldn't even look at it and, like, feel weird about it. There was no weirdness. I was just eating it up. Easily, I think I would still give this one another 5. Like, I absolutely love Senlin Yu's storytelling.
Okay. I want to read it.
I'll send it to you.
Maybe I'm in the right headspace now to finally be on this Severus Snape train that you and Ilsa are on.
Just read this story and you'll feel it. You'll feel it, I think. I'm not even sure how Ilsa, like, what she thought of it, if she did finish it after. But yeah. So anybody who's listening to this that has recommendations for, fan fiction, like Harry Potter fan fiction, hit me up. Because I want more.
Is this your 3rd now?
Yeah, if not maybe 4th.
Yeah.
Oh. So I've got one other one that I read other than the featured read. So
take it away, Arnie. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
I'm pretty sure we legitimately say that like every episode. Does it make it into each episode? I don't even remember.
Pretty sure. But it was very fitting for then.
It was very fitting. Okay, so I literally just finished this book like maybe a half hour before you messaged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is like fresh.
Give us all the deets.
And I started it yesterday.
Okay.
This is really good. So I've been like really in the mood for another, like, I've read a lot of upbeat, fluffy romances lately, and I really needed a good dark romance.
Oh.
So this series is called Corrupt Credence. Okay, so anything that has corrupt in it, I'm just like, okay, yeah, corrupt me all you want.
Yep.
So this is Made in Malice by Albany Walker. It's listed as a dark romance, reverse harem, college, new adult. It's 352 pages. And it's book 1 in at least 3 books. I know there's 3 so far.
Okay.
I rated this 5 stars. I might change it after it sinks in a little, but as soon as I finished it, I was just like, that's a 5 star. Click.
Okay.
I'll read the description. She thinks we're devils. I know we are. Feared and revered, we've earned our place to shepherd the sheep, harbor the secrets until she comes along and threatens our foundation. We could ruin her or use her. Either way, she's ours, whether she knows it or not, even if it's forbidden. Nova Devlin. I thought I knew who I was, where I came from, but my life is turned upside down when a stranger knocks on my door with promises that seem too good to be true. I should have run like hell and never looked back, but it's too late now. I'm enrolled at Cadio College, where secrets and deceptions line the walls and the founding families rule without question. They all think I'll be easy to use, to control, but I'm nobody's puppet. So, the way that this is so far that I've gathered in my head is that there's 4 like founding families of this school, of this college. It's on this island, and each founding family has their own manor, like their mansion, whatever, estate. And everybody else that's like students of the school are living like off the island. They come in from the mainland. So she finds out that her parent, years before her parents and her were in a car accident, her parents died. She's like off working. She's 20, I think she is. Working, like, not a great job. She's in a crappy apartment. And this guy in this, like, big fancy suit knocks on her door and is, you know, long story short, says, like, your grandparents were looking for you. They want you to come live with them and go to school there and blah, blah, blah. So, like, I mean, yeah, there's a lot more to it than what I'm blabbering on about. But she ends up going and, yeah. I haven't gotten quite to the reverse harem part. But I think she's going to be good.
Oh, dear.
So I started the second book. Yeah, so the first book, I'm going to say, like, the spice level of it is only, like a 1, maybe. Because nothing, like, really happens. But there's a lot of tension leading to it.
Ooh,
so
that's fun.
Yes. And it's kind of like a bully romance as well. Like the main guy, Lucian, of course. He, like, he's very much like he does not like her. He hates her. She's there. She's gonna, like, you know, because each of the families take turns, I guess, or they're, like, voted in to be the ruler of the school, like the head family. And so, like, they're next in line, or he's next in line, his family. But now that she's there, she's the only heir for her grandparents, for this estate, this, you know, families, whatever. So her being there now means that they have competition.
Yeah.
Right? So this is why, yeah. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. It's so good. So I can't wait for, what's going to happen in book 2.
The covers look really, really nice, too. I just looked them up.
Yes. Yes. I am in love. In love.
So, our featured read this month was Dear John by Nicholas Sparks. This was the first book I finished this month, and that normally does not happen.
Yeah. Yeah, usually we're at, like, the end of the month and we're messaging each other being like, have you finished the featured read yet?
Or having to, like, put off recording because we need one more night to finish the featured read.
We suck. We suck so bad.
So, okay. 276 pages. Romance. YA.
It's listed as romance, but honestly, like, it's probably more of just a contemporary fiction.
Yeah, I can see that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my notes to touch on while we talk about it. Okay. But yeah, you can still leave it as, like, a general romance. It's Nicholas Sparks, so.
True. Okay. Description. An angry rebel, John dropped out of school and enlisted in the army, not knowing what else to do with his life, until he meets the girl of his dreams, Savannah. Their mutual attraction quickly grows into the kind of love that leaves Savannah waiting for John to finish his tour of duty, and John wanting to settle down with the woman who has captured his heart. But 9/11 changes everything. John feels it is his duty to re-enlist, and sadly, the long separation finds Savannah falling in love with someone else. Dear John, the letter read, and with those 2 words, a heart was broken and 2 lives were changed forever. Returning home, John must come to grips with the fact that Savannah, now married, is still his true love and face the hardest decision of his life.
What did you rate it?
I rated it a 4, but I just changed it to a 3.
I was going to do the same thing.
Like, so I read this back in 2022, and I absolutely did not remember doing that. I can only remember the second half of the book. I didn't remember reading the first half. I felt like it was very similar to the movie, but, like, not very much stood out to me. Even now, I'm like... I know I read it for the second time, but it's like...
No. To me, yes, him and Savannah had, like, some great chemistry. They were very much one of those couples that you could just feel were meant to be. Like that sort of, up until, of course, everything happened. Shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
Spoiler alerts, we probably will be talking about crucial things that happened in the book. So if you haven't read it or watched the movie, feel free to dip out if you want.
Get out
but
now.
If not, then yeah. So there were a lot of big changes I've noticed from the movie. Like, I watched the movie before I read the book. And while I did really enjoy the movie, I feel the movie was marketed more as romance. The book feels definitely more just contemporary fiction. Because I found that it wasn't so much focusing on John and Savannah. Like, yes, obviously they were the two main characters. But I feel like the more prominent story in this book was the relationship between him and his father.
Yeah.
I felt that was the story that needed to be told.
Yeah.
Not
very,
him and Savannah.
very true. Yeah. Oh, that made me so sad.
It destroyed me. Like, I was, again, like, this is another one I was listening to the audiobook and reading the book, but I happened to be reading or listening to it while I was working, and the part when he comes home and sees what his father was living in, I was bawling. Like, I was just an absolute wreck. The way that Nicholas Sparks, like, described all of that, and like the feeling that he put into it, like I could feel what John was feeling.
Yeah.
In that whole, like, I just, and then I couldn't imagine if it was like us, like, coming home.
Yeah.
And seeing that, right? Like with one of our parents. Like, I just, it was so hard to listen to or read.
Yeah. That was the parts that made me tear up too. I didn't bawl, like I didn't cry, but like I did tear up. Also, I feel like it was so much easier to connect with John and his feelings towards that because of it being in first person. Yeah. Like how Nicholas Sparks' books aren't normally in first person. They're normally third person, which, like, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that this was in first person. Yeah. Because, like, I feel like it needed, it was needed.
I love that. And especially to the, like, you pick up right from the beginning that John's father, is neurospicy, right? Like, you pick up right from the start that, like, he does have, like, whether it's on the spectrum or, like, severe OCD, like, you can tell right from the start. And I know, like, there's a big difference in the book versus the movie with how it's, how Savannah talks about it with John. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if in the movie, if John gets angry with Savannah about it. I don't remember how that played out. But I know that she just, like, says it to him in the movie. But in the book, she actually gives him a book about it, right? But after that, and then, like, him coming to terms with it and connecting those dots and, like, understanding, and then, like, the patience that he has with his father then after that, like, I just thought that was such a... And that's why I feel like that was a story that needed to be told. I mean, how many people are raised by parents that have some, like, at some level on the spectrum, or like OCD, or just like severe like anxiety and depression, and are like housebound. Like, there's so many people that are raised by families like that, or by parents like that, and I think that that's something that really needs to be talked about more.
Yeah, that was very eye-opening to go through that with John. Yeah. Amazing. Ugh. Oh my god. Like...
So how did you feel about Tim?
So, in the movie, I remember, like, he seems older in the movie, which, like, kind of
Yes.
You know,
that is something that was a very big difference, because in the movie, he's actually like 15 years older than Savannah, has a son who's autistic, I think.
Yeah,
but
that's
in the
what
book,
I thought,
it's
too.
his brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They made it seem like Tim was like a family friend in the movie, but in the book, he grew up with Savannah.
Yeah.
So I felt it made much more sense in the book versus the movie.
Yep. Like, I loved Tim, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, what a great guy. Being in love with Savannah, that like, his
that whole
adult
time.
life. Yeah. And then just stepping back and still being so accepting of John, knowing that he was just being like, yeah, okay, here you go.
Yep. And even after, when John goes into the hospital to talk with him, and he's just like he was so prepared to just be like, listen, you be there for Savannah. When I'm gone, you...
What a guy.
He was like, he recognized that John was Savannah's, big love. Yeah. He recognized that wasn't him. And that, I think, ripped my heart out, too. Because
that's
Tim,
a really big
like you said, Tim was a great guy. Like, he was so well suited for Savannah, with how similar they were, and his ability to just put himself aside for her, and the way that she was so willing to put herself aside for him and his brother. Mm-hmm. That whole I would totally be okay with hearing their side, their love story.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that would be. We need a spin-off.
I love John. Yes, he's still such a great character, and just the way that all that played out. But I don't know. I still I really liked him too, so it's kind of hard.
I feel like they were meant to be.
Yeah,
like Tim and Savannah.
Yeah,
that's
John why I said that I felt like the movie was more geared toward the romance side, because of the changes that they made in Tim and Savannah's relationship. Because in the movie, they made it seem like Savannah was with Tim just as a convenience to help him with his son.
Yeah. That they actually fell in love and
Exactly. Yeah. And the way that it ended, because the ending was really different. Do you remember how it ended?
Yes.
Yeah. How
I was waiting for that.
Tim dies in the movie, but then in the novel, John is the one that... Now, we're surmising because it's not actually, on paper, because it just ends with John.
True.
But yeah, it's because of John, supposedly, what we're meant to think, that Tim gets the treatment that he needs, potentially leaving them to grow old together. Oh. Potentially. So John sacrificed that. He sacrificed his whole life, because he sacrificed everything for his dad, and then he sacrificed everything for his country, and then he sacrificed everything for Savannah. It's just...
He deserved better. He grew a lot, though. There was a lot of character development there.
There was. He was a totally different person at the end of that novel. Another interesting point, too, that I noticed wasn't in the novel, or wasn't in the movie, but was in the novel, was when he goes to visit her while she's at college, and they have that really big fight in the novel.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the movie. So,
See, at that point, that was when I was like, okay. I was like, I've went through this before. Was this in the movie? Am I remembering this from the movie? But I was literally just remembering it from reading it before. But I was so confused because I couldn't remember if it was book movie in my head or movie in my head. But yeah, now when I think back to the movie, I'm like, that wasn't there.
Yeah, and I think that they really screwed up not putting that in the movie, because that is one of our first signs that nothing... they're not all perfect, happy couple. That is our first taste of, is rocky.
Yeah. Right? Which is so realistic.
Yeah, 100%. But in the movie, her just all of a sudden being with Tim just felt so out of the blue, and so... Because you don't get that sense that there's something, you know, that there's problems there, that it's rocky, that, you know. But in the book, you really understand it then at that point, because you get that knowledge firsthand from John, that he feels that they're, you know, growing apart, that there's more time between her letters and stuff. And I also think that there might have been more letters in the movie. I think that they had, like, more letters in the movie, but in the book, we only get really 2 letters in the book.
Yeah, I don't remember. I haven't seen Dear John in, like,
a long time, I know.
And years and years.
Maybe when it first came out.
Oh, God.
But...
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they did do a really good job with the movie, but I just feel like it was very different from the novel, with some pretty crucial plot points, I think. Yeah, overall, I think I did really enjoy the novel. I just couldn't look at it as a romance, because I guess I was more focused on him and his father's relationship.
Yeah.
And how Savannah and Tim had their love story that we weren't really privy to. And then John was just trying to do what he can for, you know, the people that he loved, regardless of how it affected him.
What a guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, loved it.
I think I'm going to put that back up to 4 stars.
Yeah.
I think that was a good pick, though, because I haven't read that one, and it's like sort of one of the more, I don't know, like low key Nicholas Sparks novels. Like, not many people think of that novel when they first think Nicholas Sparks.
True.
So,
very true.
I think that's where we should end it for tonight. If you're still here and you're still listening to us, don't forget to hit subscribe. That helps us. And head over to our Instagram at MySistersTBR. Give us a follow. Also, don't forget that we are starting our next book tomorrow. Our next featured read. Okay, so for our next featured read for June, we're going to read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. We're pretty excited about that one. You know.
I can't wait. Even if it is...
It's just the summer vibes.
Yeah. And I love the cover. It is beautiful. I stare at it on my bookshelf. It's so pretty.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, thanks for listening again. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Bye.